But I'm back. Hello. I see there's lots of you joining the chat, and yes, no secrets with Ben around. So, can you all hear me okay? First and foremost. If you can, give me lots of love. That's just my excuse for you all to click the love button for me, really. Nothing else other than that. Where's my mouse? See if I can. My desk is such a mess. But you would expect nothing less from me, to be fair, would you? Let's have a look. Read some of these messages. It's been so long, hasn't it? It's been way too long since I last did one of these. Oh, I see Ben's laughy faces. Thank you very much, Ben. So, hello, guys. Hi, Crafty Chim. Shannon. Hello, Ben. Get off. Pauline, hi. Diane, hello. And all you McCrafters, I like that. Sue Thomas, hello. Elizabeth, hello. Thank you for joining. Lynn, hi. Jane, hello. The Sussex Lancastrian, Sarah, hello, hello, hello. Feels like an age since I've caught a life. It feels like an age since I've done one, to be honest. Hello, Helen. Thank you for joining. Say hello to Aaron for me, guys. Thank you very much. So it has. It's been so long, hasn't it? Shouldn't Ben be cooking your evening meal for when you've finished? I'm going to make him do me a 3-course meal now for telling on me. So the train, finally. So I must apologise. There has been so much going on. There's just been one thing after another. Lots of good, a little bit of bad as well. We've had more problems with these printers. When they're working beautifully. And when they're not, they're not. Does that make any sense? Hi, Matthew. That's all right. I was a little bit late myself. Mary Lou, hello. What was I saying? You're going to have to keep reminding me, because this menopausal brain is absolutely killing me. Printers, I was telling you about my printers. The printers we've got a couple, and they're absolutely brilliant when they work. But there's just like all sorts. Thank you, Shannon. There's just all little things that go wrong with them, and then it ends up being a big one. So we've had to send one off to be repaired. And then the messaged us yesterday to say that it got ink damage during transit. So now we've got to pay an arm and a leg and a kidney to have it replaced with a new one, or they're not going to send us it back. So it's like, just, oh my God, I just wanted to scream yesterday. But I'm back, I'm here, we're fine, we're calm. We're going to be doing the train. I've got some little, should we do some sneaky peeks first? We've got some sneaky peeks of, let me just move this to the side. I'll show you this first. This is my train. This one doesn't open up on the engine or on the base, but it does open here. So I've got this little special extra lid, and then I've created this little flip opening instead. So the one that I'm going to be doing tonight, I'm going to be doing it with some white cards so you can see exactly what I'm doing. But I'm also just going to show you how you can add extra little bits into this to create the advent, to to make it into an advent train. Bear with me, I've just poked myself in the eye. Right. Hey guys, printers, thank you. I just love this train. I absolutely love this train too. Hi Betty, thank you for joining. Carol, hello. Deb, hello. Just making sure I haven't missed. Hey, Lynn, hello. I was just going to say, just making sure I haven't missed anyone, and then I saw Lynn's name pop up. So it opens a little bit different to the original one that I did on Crafters TV. That was just the lid that lifted off. And again, it's just about doing it a little bit different. Think of it, you've got your box lid. how can I put that box lid on a little bit differently rather than just on and off? So, it's just taking a second before you carry on with something just to create it a little bit differently. But I just love this. I love that it opens and closes. And of course, in true Michelle style, when I created this and that was there, I thought it looks absolutely beautiful. But it felt like it needed something extra on top. So that's why it's got a lid on a lid. So with this, all I did, it's just, I think it's about 1/4 of an inch deep, just so I could create that little bit of extra fun. And what it does, it also, it keeps those 2 flip lids closed as well. So again, it's just a little bit of fun. I really enjoyed making this. There are written instructions ish. I've got all my sizes wrote out. Oh, I went really Yorkshire then, didn't I? So I've got all sizings wrote out. I'll post them on my page afterwards, and then you've got them there. Or if you're screenshotting right about now, then that is. So we've got the front car support. So that is going to be the box underneath. Front car base, I don't know why I'm taking it away. So my front car base, then we've got the front car, and this is my cabin, the front car engine, and then they've got my chimneys, and then this is just showing you how to create one of the bumpers. And this will be, where are my lids? They're all there, aren't they? Base lid, top lid. But I'll pop these all on my page afterwards. So let me have a look. I'll have to get ready for work soon. It's your last shift today, I think, isn't it, Gaz? And then have you got 3 weeks off? Is cooking my dinner while I watch. They've had their tea. Tommy had fish and chips. We nipped uptown to pick some bits up. And unfortunately, in our town centre, there's some lovely fish and chip shops that always smell so good. So she got some fish and chips. Ben's I think he's just had some pork and veggies or something. But by the time I'm done, sort of only ready. Oh, sorry. Will you stop swearing, CCTV? Do apologise. I think I'll just have a sandwich afterwards. It is beautifully made, Michelle. Thank you very much. Oh, yes, sneaky peeks. Honest, right? If you thought my memory was bad the last time I was doing a live, it's even worse now. It's like nothing you have ever come across. So I've got quite a few sneaky peeks for you today. To be fair, this is one of my background pieces. So you know that my next collection that I'm releasing is going to be, it's my Almost Alice. And I've been having a play with this collection for months, and couldn't get it sort of quite right. So I kept sort of leaving it and coming back to it. And what I've sort of come to the realization of is, in fact, I was dreaming the other night, and I was dreaming that I was sort of working on the collection, and it just came to me in my dream. I called it Almost Alice because it is Almost Alice. It's sort of my take on it, which is always a little bit different. But there's quite a lot of different paper pads in with this one, because I think for one, when you do an Alice collection, it's sort of a special edition, isn't it? So I wanted there to be enough in there for sort of everyone. So we've got some background papers. We've got my Almost Alice main collection. And then we've got the Almost Alice watercolour. We've got the backgrounds. We've got some rice papers. We've got some fussy cutting elements. We've got some fussy cutting sentiments. So there's lots of different ones in there for you to sort of pick and choose from. Michelle, my 8-year-old hijacked the chat. Sorry, let me move my mouse, and said he loves this train. I made 2 for his teachers last year with the original design. Oh, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant, isn't it? It's perfect for anyone of any age. It really is. Changing up the colours, even changing up sort of what, I mean, I used one of my old Crafter's Companion dies on this. It was a 3 sort of edgeable one. I'm not going to be die cutting that out tonight because that die I have to run it through like 4 times to get it to cut. So, but you can use any edgeable that you want to on that. You need a lot of Post-it notes in front of you. Oh, I really do. I've got a load of Post-it little books. Can't even think of the name of the Post-its to remind me of things. But, we'll get there. I'm waiting for a delivery of your special papers. Oh, it may come later today. Oh, fingers crossed. Nice and layered. So this is one of my background pieces. There's quite a few. So in each collection, there's 12 papers, as there always is, except for the rice papers. I've just got 5 rice papers. And then you can pick and choose between them if you want to. So this is one of my background ones. And if I bring that Alice one in that I originally give you a sneaky peek of, you can see where the black and white comes from. And you can see that you can layer it up and create a beautiful, matte and layered if you want to. But I do think that it's going to work beautifully on its own for many, many other things that you're going to be creating as well. This is like Alice meets Zentangle. It is. Oh, actually, if you wanted to, you could go on and add to that, couldn't you? Definitely. So that is one of the background pieces. So you can see it's just beautiful. All those swirls, everything like that. I just thought it really went along with that sort of fantastical nature of sort of Alice. This is the one that I popped on the other day for you to have a sneaky peek of. And again, you've got obviously the red roses, you've got a little sort of statue of Alice watching little Alice, you've got the rabbit, you've got the clock, you've just got lots of really weird and wonderful shapes and sort of patterns going through there. This is another one of my background pieces, believe it or not. Still got some editing to do on this one, and by I obviously mean we. But that's should I say by I mean Ben. But on this one, we've put the original Alice in. So actually, if you wanted to use this just on its own, you could do. Again, but it's still going to work as a beautiful matte and layer if you want it to, as your background piece. But I've got that fussy cutting pad, so you can be popping those on as well. Handcrafted by Gaz. I, she means we, and by she means Ben. You see, now we're going with the Alice theme, so I thought if I'm talking riddles for you as well, then, right into the honest to God. Words are too difficult. On to the next one. This is another one of the main. So this is just almost Alice main collection. And again, you've got that beautiful, obviously there's lots more in there, but you've got that beautiful sort of forest. You've got that really fantastical path that she's following, lots of weird and wonderful sort of things going on with this one. And again, you've got sort of that lovely check or Harlequin style path that she's walking up. And then we're on to some of my fussy cutting papers or pages. Again, I've got a few little bits. Ben's got a few bits of editing to do, but we really wanted to show you some of these, a little bit of tidying up. So, for instance, he added this swirly bit. I don't think I'm quite a fan of it, so I might see what it looks like with that gone. But it's just about having a bit of a play about, isn't it? This is another one of the fussy cutting ones, and I love this. And to be honest, it would work as a background piece if you wanted it to. If you're not, if someone mentioned earlier or said earlier that they're not great at fussy cutting, but if you've got one of your oval nesting dies, you could just cut that piece out if you really wanted to. sort of your circle dies, and if you've got a scan and cut, I don't know about your Cricut, but I know you can scan and cut, you can pop bits on and it will cut it out for you. I so need all of these papers. Thank you, Matt. Guys, I can't wait to make some awesome 3D projects with these. Yes, absolutely. As much as I love card making, I think for me, lots of times when I view anything, I view it from, can I make something 3D with it? But can I also create a card with it? Because, I think mainly we like to be able to create a card, even if it's to go along with something we've sort of made. As long as each item has solid lines, the Brother Scan and Cut will cut them just fine. So yes, lots of these have got absolutely perfect solid lines. I think you'd struggle with the windmill, but I think you could get away with that, I suppose, if you took your time with it. But lots of them on here, there's many ways. What I tend to do is if I'm cutting something that's a circle out and I'm rubbish at cutting a circle, what I will do is I will distress those edges afterwards. And then you can sort of get away with it. It just looks like you fussy cut it and then distress the edges. Very rudely snuck a butterfly in there. But I actually really quite like that one because it's just black and white. I love fussy cutting. Loads of people do. I mean, it's so, you just sit down, you fussy cut, and it's a real de-stressor, I find. I have a love-hate relationship with fussy cutting. I think that's sort of where I am, because sometimes I cut them out and I think, oh my God, that's amazing. And then sometimes I cut them out and think it's just good for nothing but the bin. I can't fussy cut at all, Lynn. I was the same. I just have to go really, really slow. This is another one. So this is the watercolour collection. This is one that I know butterflies. I know. I've allowed him that one because I actually think it's quite cute. But that's the one and done, I think, definitely. So this is the watercolour collection. She had her feet on backwards the other day, if some of you noticed. But Ben came home and just flipped them round. So he did say to me there was a couple on there. He says, make sure that you post the right one. And of course I didn't. I posted the one with her feet backwards. I tend to cut too close to the ephemera. I don't think it matters. I think we think that you have to leave a bit of a white border, but you really don't. It's entirely up to you. You can leave a bit of a white border. You can cut right up to it if you want. I think it looks nice either way. So this is that fussy cutting one. Well, it's not. It was the in-between. I had my main collection and I wanted some fussy cutting elements, but Ben had designed some like really beautiful ones with that watercolour in the back, with the aim of me being able to fussy cut things out. But I said, actually, they would make a beautiful collection all by themselves, because you can fussy cut if you want, or you can leave it as is if you want. So I'm absolutely loving that. This is just the smaller sizes that with the fussy cutting. I wanted to see what they looked like on the A4, and even down to that little topper. So that's the 3x4 topper. I think it looks amazing. So lovely. I wanted to see what it looks like in all of the sizes that I do, and I think it looks great. Now, this is one of my fussy cutting this is one of my rice papers. So you can see it is because you've got that lovely soak through of ink. Ben had to adjust the settings on the printer because you can see a little bit too much ink through the back. But on this one, it's a lot better. You have to put it on a lower quality print, to be honest, when you're printing with rice paper. But I think it's come out beautiful. So this is one of my rice papers. Shut the doors, windows, and the outside is amazing. Olga, hi, late to the party. Oh, that's quite all right. Welcome. We haven't started on the project yet. We're just having some sneaky peeks. So again, I'm gonna think of again the royal we. I think I might take. I don't know. I think I was thinking about taking some of the extra bits off, but I absolutely love it. So she might just stay as Steampunk Alice, to be fair, because the rice papers are work alone. You don't necessarily need to pop them with those either. Are you going to do 5 paper live? I don't know what that is, but it sounds exciting. Put me down for one of everything now, please. There's a lot, Gaz, can I just say? There is a lot. I have got, so we've got Almost Alice, we've got Almost Alice watercolour, we've got Almost Alice backgrounds, then I've got Almost Alice fussy cuts, and then we've got Almost Alice fussy cut sentiments. And then I think I've got another one. Is it the rice papers? But there's just 5 rice papers. Should have said rice paper. Put me down. Are you going to do rice paper live? I am. I absolutely am going to, because this is my first collection, and I know I've been saying it for a couple of months, but August and September are so busy for me with regards to family and having to pay attention to the children that I haven't got round to much, to be fair. I did finally find a rice paper I liked. I found 2 actually. So this one, you can see it's got those fibres running through it, but the fibres are really, really fine in this one. So when you want to rip it, you haven't got lots of big fibres. It rips really, really lovely. And I have got another one with bigger fibres in, and they both are absolutely lovely. So, but I think I'm going to go with this one. I think it's just it's a nicer tear. Love the rice paper. My oldest is 35 on Sunday, and he's still needy. I know. The older they get, the needier they get. I mean, my son rung me today, and my little grandbaby, who is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in the world. I know I tore it. I'm sorry. So it's awful when you see someone tear or cut the paper, isn't it? And he's got a little bit of a cold. He's 4-week-old, and he's got a little bit of a cold. Obviously not Ben, my grandson. So, yeah. So like even my son, he rung me up and he was like, he's a bit sniffly. What could I do? What should I do? And I was like, you need to bring him to Nanny and just leave him there forever. So Ben, I told you, I think, a little while ago, he's been working on his own ideas, which is quite rude, to be frank, because he should be working on my papers, more beautiful than your own children. To be honest, he looks just like they all did when they were babies. You can definitely tell the genes in our family run really, really well. So I don't feel too bad saying that. It is really vivid, isn't it? It's a lot. That's what Ben was saying as well. It's a lot more vivid than I thought it was going to be. He did both of these on a different setting. So the one that turned out better was on a lower quality setting on the printer, which is really weird. But you can, if I just move that, pop them next to each other. This is, I think that's the lower quality one, and I can't remember, but there's a little bit of a difference between them. But even on the lower quality one, the ink saturation is huge. They've printed really, really well. Stop with the child talk and make with the Ben papers. I'm on tenterhooks. Right, I will. So I was saying, can you tell? Ben's very, oh, don't do that. Wait a minute for my camera to decide if he likes me or not. This is Ben's collection. So he came in earlier with it and he said, will you sneaky peek these? And showed me this. So these are 2 of the collections that Ben's been working on. So this is one of them. So I think I did a sneaky peek last time of just one of these, but this is another one that he's been working on. You think my mind's worrying, you should see Ben's. So it's like this vortex, and you've got just, again, it's quite fantastical, isn't it? I don't even know where he started or how he got to this, but this is what he's come up with, and I absolutely love it. The colours, you can see the colours on this are just absolutely stunning. In fact, I tell a lie. It was because of so my sort of favourite art style is very much like Salvador Dali. You know, he has those weird elephants, he has the melting clocks, all that kind of thing. So the first one he ever did, do I have it here? Was very much him showing me sort of that style. And then he went on to this one. So again, you've got that. It's just stunning. It reminds me of that TV show that used to be on TV, that really old one. What was it called? You know, it had all those weird stories on it. That's very much what it sort of reminds me of. So that is one of those. And then this, I love this. The colours are just absolutely stunning. This is his other collection, but let me see if I can. What have I got here? He's got all sorts here. Like this one. So this is, again, very much along the same vein as the two that I've just shown you. It's very much going into sort of the very old-fashioned ships and that kind of thing along the bottom. Twilight Zone, thank you. Yeah, Temporal Explorer collection. I can't believe it. A bit Doctor Who-ish. Yeah, absolutely. So we've got that. I love this. The Old Fisherman. All those bits and bobs there. And then this is sort of it evolved from this collection into this next one. You've got that beautiful mermaid there. So this is a perfect Tales of the Unexpected. That's another weird one as well, wasn't it? Are you two trying to take over the world? Well, we'll give it a good go. Yes, I think it was Twilight Zone I was thinking of. But again, this is just, again, very fantastical, isn't it? But totally different. And then there's this one. He's been having a good old play. He's been busy, hasn't he? Lots of weird. You've got the just a lone survivor, soul survivor, walking off into whatever. But it's just that fabulous. Oops, I thought the live was 6:30. That's quite all right. I still haven't got into doing any of the projects. We've just been having a chat and a bit of a sneaky peek of some upcoming. It's also a bit Salvador Dali. Yes, absolutely. And then this one is obviously going to sort of work with this collection. And he said he's going to start his own label, Paper by Pen. So those are all my sneaky peeks that I've got for now. Oh, those are my sizes. So should we get on with this train? So I'll bring this in again. Very, very easy to do. You're breaking everything down into separate pieces, popping them all together, and it really, really works well. Crafty Chimp. I'm not going to attempt to say that, but is that what springs? Is he an artist? The blue one really exposed my mind. Yeah. Every one of those. He's done an amazing job. He really has. I think Ben's found his second calling after food. They're beautiful, Ben. Wish I was home to craft along. Oh, where are you? Are you out and about? Or are you at work? And have you already said that? My dad was in the Navy back in the day. I thought of him when Ben's papers. Lovely. Thank you, Ben. Yeah, definitely. Japanese artist. I will have to look that up. Can I email for the written instructions as I don't have social media? Yes, absolutely. Pop me an email. I don't know if it says on here. I think I have put it on here, but it's michellemc3@sky.com and I will send you the instructions. I'm not going to even bother. Just put me down for one of every collection from now until forever. Thank you. Right, I can do that, guys. No worries. Right, so let me get my bits out. Let me just move that up there. So I've already pre-scored everything, obviously to save time, but I'm still going to go through all those sort of the instructions and the score numbers with you, so you can sort of still follow along. So you can see that I've already marked them all up, so I know what I'm doing and where I'm going. So we will literally start from the beginning. So I'm going to pop these to the side. So this is my support piece. So what you have got is 6.5 inches by 8 inches. I'll bring my scoreboard in because we'll reinforce those score marks on there. There. Right. Let me just move that a little bit. There we go. Right. So on the 6.5 inch, so on the short side, we've got a score at 1/2 inch, 2.5 inches, at 3.5 inches. We're at 5.5 inches that way, and then we're going to turn it onto the long side. We're going to score it at 1 inch that side. You can flip it all the way round and score it at 1 inch on that side. Let's pop that down there. And then all we need to do now is just fold and burnish. Because this is the support piece that is going to be going underneath. I'm not going to add any pattern paper to it, because really what you want in it to do is sort of blend into the background. So you don't really want to see it per se, unless you want to make a focal point out of it, and then absolutely. There we go. So you can see straight away that is my support piece underneath. So we just need to trim away some of those bits. Let me get this back down. Right, so on this 1/2 inch tab side, we're just going to put that bit away because I don't need that bit. And on the other side as well, we're going to trim that away. And then up each of these, we're just going to go straight up. Let me get I'm trying to get used to using a smaller pair of scissors, but I cannot for love nor money get used to it. So we'll just carry on with the big ones. So straight up all of those, and then we're going to do the same on the other side. Just straight up to that score line, that 1 inch score line. And then glue. So let's pop that down that tab. Fold that over, just give that a second to sort of catch. She's got to stop it. Now you're really taking the mick. What is that filth on the screen? CC's band, and I'm sorry. It's okay, Helen. It's from the before time in the long, long ago. Right, so. And then all I'm doing with these is we're just going to pop those in on both sides and just glue those shut. And then that's just going to be my support piece. So let's just, again, get a little bit of glue on there. Throw it away. And then turn to the other side. And pop that down. Add the glue. And to be honest, I mean, I could use my tape pen to make it sort of grab quicker. But I like to use my glue because then I just feel I like a tape pen. I love a tape pen. I think when you're creating something construction-y, I think you need the permanence of a wet glue. I don't know if that's a word. It is now. So I'm just going to hold on to them for a second. I think your tape pens are absolutely brilliant for you sort of matting and layering cards and stuff. But when it comes to anything construction and you've got sort of weight on your joints and things, I think you need to go with either red liner or you need to go with a wet glue. Right, so that's it. So that's my support. So if I bring this in and show you, it's just that support piece. So we're going to put that to the side, and then I'm going to bring in these two pieces. So this is my base. And you can see again on there, I've put the measurements. So it needs to be 10.5 by 6.5. And you're going to score at 1/2 inch, 1.5, and then 5.5. And then you're going to turn it to the long side. You're going to score it at 1 inch here. And then I always tend to flip it all the way round. I want you to score at 1/2 inch and then 1.5 inches. So let's get these scored and burnished, and I'll show you why you've got that different measurement on this one. So we just give them all a bit burnish. Last one. There we go. So this is going to be half of my base. This is going to be the other half. So they're exactly the same in size, 10.5 by 6.5. Just going to have a look at some comments while I'm folding. Can see something about Sarah Mort, or am I saying it wrong? Apologies if I am. Right, so on this piece, so you've got that 1 inch tab at that side. So all we need to do with this is just cut up to that first line on that side, cut up to that first line there. And what is your 1/2 inch tab? We're going to cut that away just in that corner. So you've got that with just 2 cut lines there. And we're going to turn this one round, and I've got 1/2 inch, and then you've got that 1 inch there. Apologies about my lighting. It's gone a bit rubbish, hasn't it, really? So we're going to cut straight up there. This 1/2 inch tab, we're going to cut away down to that 1.5 inch line. We're going to trim that top bit away there, and we're going to make a little side tab. So we're just going to cheese wedge each side. Can you see? I'm going to do exactly the same at the other side. Straight down to the 1.5, cheese wedge that little tab, and then get rid of that bit there. Because what's going to happen is, when I've got this piece on the bottom, these are going to fold in, that's going to fold up, and it's going to tuck under. So what that is going to allow is for you to store something in here. So we've got the tab that opens, you pop your, whatever it is, day 1, day 24 of your advent, you can pop your piece of chocolate in there and fold it over. So if we do the same on this piece, but because that has got the tab on, that's got the extra 1/2 inch on, even though I've popped it on this one, I don't need it. So I'm going to get rid of it. So let's straight up those, the other side, and get rid of that. And straight up there. And we're going to cut straight down there. Going to get rid of the tab on that side. We're going to cut straight down there and there as well, because that's that 1/2 inch tab that we don't need. I'm going to just trim this away. So, unless I want this to open at both sides, you can obviously keep that on. I don't want that to open at both sides. So what you've got for now, before I go any further, have I cut those? Yeah. You've got sort of two identical pieces, but we've just cheese wedged these ones, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to glue this together first. It's going to make it easier to show you what I'm sort of doing. So let's just glue this tab. Spread it a bit, might dry a little bit quicker. Pop that on there as if we were making any sort of box or bag. You know, we cut two exactly the same and then glue them together. Used a little bit too much glue there, but that's all right because it can go on the inside. We need a rocket to go with the train. What GSM are you using? For this, I'm using a 300. If I'm doing anything construction, I like to use a 300 GSM. So if we bring that over, you can see that it's going to be honest, fold that way. What I've got here is an extra tab on it I don't really need. So let's take this one off. Because what I really don't need is that extra bit on it, do I? Because I've got my two sides here. I've got carried away with myself. Because I've got my sides on here, I don't need those sides on here and that tab. So if we pretend that that tab's not there, I can glue it together like this. What that does is it doubles up your sides. So it's entirely up to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that tab there and that tab there. I'm going to glue my two sides together. And then what that does, again, because it's going to be the base of everything, it gives me that extra strength. If you're adverse to CC, Helen, no looking while I use this. So getting rid of that 1/2 inch tab on the side. I'm going to get rid of this one as well because I don't need them. So what you're going to do is you're going to put glue on both of those. And what that gives you is a really strong 600 GSM on each side. You don't have to. I have done it because, again, it's the base of the whole of the train. So, which also means I don't need the 3 tabs on this particular one. So let's trim those off as well. So let's have a look. I'm going to trim so much off this last piece, aren't I, that there's going to be nothing there. Let's bring that round here. So this is the one I'm trimming down. So I'm going to keep trimming this one down and then I'll give you the final size of this one piece. So let's just top and bottom. Right, so this is my side that those 2 pieces are going to flap over and then this is going to tuck in like that at that side. So bringing it to this side, I've obviously got 4 tabs that I do not need. So again, let's bring this particular one that I'm trimming down. I'm going to trim that corner away and that one away. I did get a little bit carried away. I just created them both the same, which really, you don't need them both the same. So this now. So much different, doesn't it? But it's going to go in there. I've got then on all three sides, you've got 600 GSM, which really makes it sturdy. So it allows this to be able to open and close with no worries because you've got some really strong sides. So if I bring this in and I'll just measure it. So we're at 9 inches wide by 6 inches. So this particular one, you want 9 inches by 6. You're going to score 1 inch on 3 sides. And then that's that base piece. And this one is exactly the same as I told you. So if I fold that out, that is sort of the 2 pieces that you're going to be needing. And what I'm going to do on this piece here, because it's the flap that tucks in and out, we're just going to take those corners away just up to that 1/2 inch mark. And then it allows it to just be a little bit more seamless when it tucks in and out. So all we're doing is we're going to glue this side shut. We're going to glue the sides, but we don't glue this side here with those tabs. So that's going to go in there. And because, suppose, again, it depends if you want this to tuck up, closed, or tuck down. Does that make sense? I'm going to tuck mine down. So when I bring this one in, I'm going to glue these over. If I glue the base piece up, it's ugly. You want to cover it up. So your top piece is going to go over those side pieces. So I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to glue. Wait a minute, did I start on that side? So I'm going to glue on these 2 sides. Well, I'm not. I'm going to pop glue on all 3. And then we can be popping them all down together. So if I bring this piece in, this flap here goes to this side where there's nothing. And bring, fold them back up on it. Should have done it really before I glued it, but it's all right. Do I need to do it that way? I do need to do it that way. No, I need to do it that way. I'm all right. I need to pop the top one over. Honest, we'll get there. So bring that on there. Just line it off and then bring it over. And I can bring that over. And sometimes when you look at something and you turn it around 3 times and then you get right back to where you started. So let's tuck those 2 in. That one and that one. There we go. And then this is your flap. Opens and closes just like a box. Okay. It's just a second while my glue goes off. There we go. And then you've got that tucks in. So I'm going to have mine that way because I've got the smooth edges. If I have it that way, it's those sort of exposed edges that I want to the bottom. So which means my little tag or lip is going to tuck in bottom. Have a good shift, Gaz. Oh, I gather Gaz is gone. I'm going to buy you a new trimmer. Thank you. Sorry, just arrived, forgot the time. Evening, everyone. Hello, Karen. Ellen, what have you done with the stuff you bought from the company that shall not be named? I give the majority away to schools and charities. Do you know what? It's a little bit sad because I know I've said this before, the most amazing time with CC. I had amazing training. I met some of the most amazing people. And it's just unfortunate. It ended in not the nicest of ways. And it really sort of, I can't say anything bad because I did have an amazing time. But then on the flip side, it could have been ended in a lot of a nicer way. But what do you do? Right, so I'm going to use, and I know lots of people was upset as well, weren't there? There was lots of just not letting people know what was going on, which again, it's just could have been dealt in such a. I would imagine in hindsight, the people at CC are thinking maybe we could have handled it differently or better, but I wouldn't be here doing this with you guys if I was still there. So, you have to look at the positives. So I'm going to use all about the bauble collection for this one. Because I thought we'd go Christmas and we'd go Advent. This is my circus collection. So they're all always available. There's never an end date. They don't sell out. You can always get all of them. The hardest thing is deciding which piece I want to use. So for my base, before I go on to put anything else on it, we're just going to do some mat and layering. So if I bring this in, that is now, it's 8 inches. I don't know why I needed to double check. I just did. So let's trim this down. It's entirely up to you. It's 8 inches by 4 inches. So you can go down 1/4 of an inch. You can go down 1/2 an inch, or you can go down just that 1/8 of an inch. It's entirely up to you. What I tend to do is just do the 1/8 of an inch because that's just what I like. So let me trim that piece away first. So the side is 1 inch, and we're going to go for 7/8 of an inch. And then 4 is the top. So we're going to go down that 1/8 to 3 7/8. And then again for that piece. I won't mat and layer all this up. I won't decorate it all up. I'm quite aware of time and I talk a lot. So I'm going to try and make my pattern follow. So I'm going to pop that on there. That's going to go on the top. And I'm going to have is that right? Oh, it is right. And I'm going to have that one there. So again, let's pop some glue on here. Now, this is where if you wanted to use your tape pens, you absolutely could for your matting and layering. So let's pop that on there. And you see how you've just got that lovely thin border. That's my absolute favourite. I just love it. That's always been my sort of go-to size. That's sort of not the 1/4 of an inch. Let's pop. This on. So you can see that my box keeps popping open. Whenever I'm sort of working on it, that is going to happen. If you find you've cut these too much of an angle on these, then you will find that it's not necessarily going to keep staying in there. So there's a couple of things you can do. If you want to add a little bit of ribbon to this, it's going to add a little bit of depth to it. So it's like a little pull. It's going to add a bit of depth to it, which is going to allow it to sort of stay in there a little bit more, or just mat and layer some paper onto the top of it. It's going to allow it to stay in as well. Stick that down. So wherever I can, I'm going to try and sort of follow my pattern round because I think it just looks fabulous. Of course, you don't have to. I think that's just Again, it's just a personal preference, so you can see the sort of, it follows round. So this is going to go under there. This bit is going to be the back, because if I have it at the front, it means that when I add the bumpery bit, so it got a name, you're not going to be able to get in. If you're not using it as an advent calendar, then you're not going to have that opening. But if you want to, and you want to have that as one of your boxes, then it's going to be best going to the back. And then what we'll do is we'll just glue that onto the bottom. So let's do that now. So I don't need to sort of wait, and I'm going to pop it right in the middle. So just judging that by eye. Lots of people not watching. I'm hoping it's not me that you're talking about. I adore this collection. I love this. Alice, thank you. Betty, thank you. Crafty Chim. We have so much positive from Michelle to focus on. I can't wait for whatever is next in her plan to take over the world. Thank you very much. So let me open that up, pop that on there, just stick my hand in just to allow that to grab a little bit better. Right, I don't know, is it just me? But I've had some Collal glue. My last couple of bottles seem to be taking forever to sort of go off and grab. Almost like it's not, I don't know, a watered down version. I obviously know it's not. But these last couple of bottles I've had just seem to take forever to grab. I don't watch the Ben show either. I'm going to do this Christmas and Victorian summer sky. Absolutely. This is going to work for everything. You can make it really feminine. You can make it really masculine. You can make it perfect for the kids, Christmas, Easter. Absolutely. It's just a fun project to do. It really is. I'm going to pop that off, just pop that there and hope that it starts to grab. But you can see that's sort of my two pieces, my bottom main pieces for now. And then I'm going to go on to throw everything on the floor. Right, so this is going to be the big box that I'm going to put there, and it's 10.5. Do you think it's a bit too dark for my camera? It's not really having much fun today, is it? There we go. Are you all right now? Can we carry on? Right, so 10.5 by 10.5, and we're going to score each side at, let me just double check, because I can't do that in my brain at this minute in time. It's very easy. 3.5. How easy was that? So 3.5, turn it round, score at 3.5, turn it round, score at 3.5. And again, it's almost like an exploding box. So we're just going to score all those 4 sides. Right, let's bring in, give them a good burnish. When you're creating boxes or anything like that, you want a nice crisp edge on them. I mean, don't burnish it too hard. If you've got a card that cracks, don't burnish too hard, but burnish a couple of times, if that makes sense. Right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to go straight down there. And I'm going to trim a little bit away there. Because what it's going to do is it's just going to follow all the way. But what I'm also going to do is I'm just going to trim a slither from here. So when I do fold it round, it tucks in nice and perfect. So literally 1/4 of an inch. And then all the way round. a little cheese wedge, and then just a thin sliver. And I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to do it one on each side rather than having. So I'm going to do it so, honest words, each side has got that extra tab on it. You know, rather than creating 2 tabs there and 2 tabs there, if you do it this way, where you've got one will go there and one goes there and so on, you're adding that extra strength to each side rather than just adding strength to 2 sides. So straight down, trim, wedge, and then like 1/4 of an inch. On the last side, trim that wedge, and then I'm going to trim that away. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold that over. When you cut it, when you've got that score line and you cut it along it, so I've cut along this score line here, and I can see that I haven't cut it perfectly straight. So I'm going to fold that underneath, and then I'm going to trim up. And because I folded that underneath and I can trim up, I can trim that perfectly straight. So I'm going to go round and I'm going to do that on all 4 sides. I'm going to fold that one under, and I can see, I don't know if you can see just there, I haven't trimmed down there right to the centre or right in the centre. So we're just going to, that's better, trim it up there. It makes those edges real nice and clean and sharp. And you know, sometimes you get that little bit of fluff that's still stuck in the corner. It eliminates that as well. So on the far side, I can see that it's not quite perfectly straight. So I'm just going to trim that off. And then now, when I bring all 4 around, I've got lovely, nice, straight, clean edges all the way round. And you can see they're all doubled up, which means I've got that added extra strength. Oh, you can make a monster truck. My cousin is obsessed with those. Hi, Mr. Starts. I have to catch up later. Is the white paper reflecting the light? I think it is. So Ben reset my cameras and the lights because I sit right next to my window that's just here. And now it's winter. Is it winter officially yet? So the light has changed so much in here just from the last live that I did. I think it all sort of needs playing about with again. But my camera is absolutely having none of it today, isn't it? So let's just tuck these last 2 sides in. And there we go. So now just give them all a squish. So again, I've got 600 GSM on each side rather than just on a couple of the sides. Right, so let me give it a nice good burnish. Right, so that's, again, that's the box that's going to go on the back. It's 3.5 inch wide. I do have my lid somewhere. Bear with me. So that's my end. I've wrote everything on them, so don't lose my bits, lose what I'm doing. So that's the lid for the cabin. That's the piece that I'm looking for. So what you've got here, it's 7.5 by 7.5. And what I've done is I've scored 1 inch and 2 inches on all 4 sides. Because I don't want to double it over. I don't want the double-edged sides to my boxes, but what I do need on two of the sides is a flap to attach to my box. So it's going to flap open and closed. So if I lift this off, you can see that it opens. So what I've got here is I've got the 1 inch that is going to open, but I've also got another inch down here that you can't see that's glued underneath there. You can do it at 1/2 inch, it's up to you. What allows that to flap open and closed, but I obviously don't need it on those sides. So I'll show you how we're going to trim that down. Again, very simple. But if I show you it from this way and then show you how to trim it down, rather than give you the already trimmed down measurements, it makes it so much easier for you. So that's my lid that's going to go on there. So 2 of the sides we need to get rid of and 2 we're going to keep. But what we're going to do is we're going to sort of trim it like a normal box anyway. So we're going to cut all the way down to that 2 inch line and we're going to create that little tab that we sort of always do on any kind of box. So you can see I've got my tab that will tuck under there. These where you can't really see, I've just scribbled out so I know that I need to trim those away. And this is the one that I'm going to keep. So on this one again, so this side, trim all the way down to that 2 inch, create your little tab. And then I'm going to trim straight across, leave it nice and straight. We'll do the same on that side. So you can see, let me get rid of that bit. So those are going to glue underneath. That bit is just my box as normal, and on my box lid as normal, and then this tab is what's going to glue here. So I obviously don't need it on all 4 sides. So we're going to just turn all the way to the other side and we're going to get rid of exactly the same as what we've got rid of there. And then on that side as well, turn it over to do it. And then last bit, there we go. So I only need to keep that tab, it's a tab really, to glue it on with, on 2 sides. So we're going to get rid of that side and the other side. So either on your guillotine or with your scissors. And then there we go. So this is what you're going to end up with. So we're going to glue the box as normal, box lid, sorry. And then that is just my 2 tabs that I'm going to glue on to my box. Let me pop it over. There we go. So it's as near as makes a difference, exactly a proper box lid, but on 2 sides, you've got that extra tab. Now I've got that extra tab because I want to cut down here. So before I go ahead and glue anything together, you're going to decide if this is what you want to do, whereabouts you're going to pop that cut. Now I think that's just over 1 inch on mine on that side. There's no rule as to how much, how wide. It's entirely up to you design wise. So I'm just going to cut mine roughly about 1 inch. I think it being not symmetrical, it just adds a little bit more fun to it as well. So that's going to go on that side and that's going to go on that side. So all I need to do is glue my 2 tabs just as any normal box lid. Pop those under there. Made the train last Christmas, filled with chocolates. Perfect. I made 3 drawer chests for my hubby with chocks in it. Oh, that sounds lovely. Good morning, ladies. Sorry I'm late. I slept in. Oh, hello, Deborah. So where are you? Are you in the US? Sorry, I'm in and out trying to pull all my crafting things. I'll put all my crafting things away while I've got the energy. Right, so that's gonna pop on there. And that's the bit that's gonna glue. Let me fold it back on itself without undoing my glue tabs. So flipping it round. And we're going to glue that on. And I'm going to glue it on before I add any pattern paper. Because if you add your pattern paper and then glue that on, you've got that border. Unless you want a lovely little border on, it's entirely up to you. So all we need to do, you can trim this down as well if you want to. Again, entirely up to you. You can trim your edges in just a little bit so they don't hang over the sides of your box. So let's take the tiniest little wedge and then we're just going to pop glue on there. Pop it on, make it nice and flush, and then you can stick it down. The hubby's been out with his telescope. He's been looking. What have you been looking for? Is it the comet? Has any of you guys seen the comet that's around at the minute? So shall I show you? It's just coming. He's just caught the comet. Oh, is it the other way? There you go. So that's comet what? It's just got numbers, hasn't it?
It's A3.
A3 something, Atlas. So he's just coming very happy that he's managed to catch that on his telescope. So there you go. You've got that lovely flap on one side, and then we're going to do the same on the other. Going to glue our 2 tabs to start with. And then those under. And let's wait for that glue. Oh, Rhonda, hello. Have I missed anyone else? Oh, Australia. So is it like 3:30, 4:30 for you ish? Wow, nice picture, Ben. It's been here for about a week, apparently. We did try to go see it the other night, but it was a little bit cloudy. So again, my little tab going into a paper. It could. In fact, I think if you remember a little while ago when CC brought out their paper pad, their Cosmo one or something, I was still there at the time, I think. Then CC Ben showed it on one of the shows. I can't think of the collection that CC had out. So I'm just waiting for my glue. It's yeah, it's not playing at the minute. So there we go. Just not having any of it, is it? It's not even warm in here. I've got the window wide open next to me, so it's quite cool.
Cosmic.
There we go. Cosmic Collection. Oh, didn't like the Cosmic Collection. Don't tell Helen that I said the bad word again. Right, so that is taken now. You are going to have a little bit of a gap there because the fact that you're having to glue it on two sides. So all you need to do is add either 1/4 of an inch, because that's literally all it is, to your sizing. But I'm not going to, because I like it. I think it looks lovely with that little bit of a gap there. And it just makes it easier for people to actually realise, oh, it has tuck now, look at that, perfect, that you can do that. And plus, when we're bringing in that lid to sit on top, it doesn't really matter anyway. But when you take that lid off, people are like, instead of attempting to do that, they're like, oh, that's pretty neat. So, do people use the word neat? Have I gone back to like 1950? So there we go. So we're getting there, aren't we? So, and that one's glued lovely as well. So that's so far. And then let me just bring in the other bits. So these are all my sort of the front bits of this tray. So I'll pop those to the side. So what I've got here now, I've got 2 pieces. This is 4 1/8 by 4 1/8 of an inch. This is 3.5 inches by 6.5. So this, again, this is no particular length, because this is the piece that's going to go on top. So it depends how much of that sort of dome on top you want. So just have a little bit of a play. I've created mine at 6.5 inches, and I've got a score of 1/2 on each side, and it gives me, as near as makes no difference, the same size as the other one. This is 4.5 by, it's 4 1/8, because I've just got that 1/8 of an inch score on each side. So 1/4 of an inch score on each side. I'm bringing it here, so apologies, I know you can't see, but I bring it to the edge of my desk and I just bend my score line. It makes it easier to just pop it to the edge of the desk, especially when you've got a real thin one like that. So if you wondered why I keep bringing it down to the side, that's why. It's a tiny, tiny little wedges out of these corners, because it's just 1/4 of an inch. So what you've got here, the top lid, so it's 4 1/8 of an inch by 4 1/8, and you're going to score it 1/4 of an inch on all 4 sides. Just put that back. I'm going to use this one because they're so tiny. Gonna just use my tacky glue. So this is, again, I'm using a 300 GSM, but it's just a little bit fiddly. You have to hold this because of how narrow those sides are. You don't have to do them this small. I did them this small because I just want it to sort of just pop on the top. But you can have these sides a lot deeper if you want to. I think once you've got sort of my base measurements, then you can sort of go and adapt it as much or as little as you want yourself. Fold those in. So I think they are all done. So I'm going to bring this in and I'm going to make sure that it sits on, which it does. It sits on lovely. Right. So that is that sort of outside of the lid, and then this is going to pop on there. So I'm just going to glue those down. So again, 6.5 by 3.5, and just on these two long sides I've scored at 1/2 inch, and then we're going to sit it on here. So I'm going to definitely resort to my tacky glue, because it's just drying a little bit quicker than my other one. So I'm going to bring that right to the edge. I'm going to let that one grab first. And then, because I've turned it round, let's curve it back that way. Fold that in. Pop it right to that edge. And just grab it from underneath. Hi, Michelle. Hi, all. Sorry, late to the party. We'll watch from start and catch up. Tracy, it's just not good enough. Have you now back on the big TV where you belong? Thank you very much. She's on my big screen too. Ben got some amazing pictures of the Northern Lights. He loves anything like that. So you can see now that I've got that lovely dome effect. So if I bring this in and we sit this on here, you need to make sure that these fold that way. You saw your comment. Right, this way. There you go. Can you see that? It was amazing. That's just from in our back garden. He got some amazing pictures, he really did. Right, so this sits on the back. You need to make sure that you've your lid flap open to the side. If it goes to the front, you're going to have that engine on the front and it's not going to work. So I can sit this on here now. There you go. You can see it sits on there. And then that's how it's sort of coming together. So let's pop that to the side. These pics need to go in your papers. I think that was quite a bit of an inspiration for him with his papers. You know, the sort of the sky and the stargazing and everything like that. That was definitely an inspiration for him. Right, so where's my other pieces? Oh, they're underneath my instructions. So again, I said I'm not going to decorate it up because I'm quite aware of how long it takes to pop this together. But what I will do with this is I'm going to cut a 3.5 by 3.5 piece of pattern paper. So I'll do one just to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Because it's got the sides with that bit of a flap on there, we need to make sure that we get exactly, Helen, don't look, where we need it to be. So let me trim this. So each side of that box is 3.5 by 3.5. I'm going to go down that 1/8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 1/8. I'm just counting my little notches to make sure that we're getting it right. 3 and there. So if I open that up, then this is going to mat and layer on there absolutely perfectly. But when it comes to this side, it's not going to. So we need to trim it. So let's just trim. So it's 1 inch, isn't it? So 3/4 of an inch. Let's trim that off. So then what you're going to do is you're going to pop that on there. I've gone a little bit narrow because it's big piece missing there, which is really annoying. I can always get it a little bit wrong there. So I would have mine a little bit wider because it needs to cover your tab. So you're going to pop that one there, and then you're going to pop that one there, and then it doesn't affect the opening and closing of it. And then on the inside as well, if you want to trim another sort of 3/4 of an inch pattern, then it covers all your edges. So that's how you just pop that on there. Going to do those. But again, what I'll do is I'll decorate it all up afterwards, and then I will post the finished bits on there, or the finished project. So you can see, again, you can see that I've cut it down and also added a piece on the inside. Right, so we're getting there, aren't we? I'm not doing too bad. Haven't got hiccups yet. For anyone who's wondering what I'm talking about, when I talk too much, I get hiccups. But it's this weird hiccup that gets sort of stuck in the back of my throat. It's because of where it's from. It's wow, I love it. My daughter and son-in-law got some great ones too in Cossity. Costasy. That's in Norfolk, isn't it? Because I remember not being able to pronounce that the last time I saw it as well. I think this is too advanced for me. I think if you want to open it all up and create all those pockets, but you've got to remember that this is just a box. So I've just created a box, and I've created a box lid, but all I've done is I've added or I've cut the box lid in half, and then just on those two sides you've got a tab. I think if you watch it back, and you watch it back a little bit slower, because I do know that I talk quite fast, it's very easy. But you've got one box here, and this is just two separate boxes as well. Just break it down and do one at a time, and I think you'll get there, definitely. Right, so we've got that front engine to do. So let me bring this in again. Front engine. And we've got the chimney to do. So for that front engine, excuse all the rubbish here. I've emptied my rubbish bin and I've left it over there somewhere. So my rubbish is piling up here at the minute. Lynn, you can do it. You absolutely can do it. It's breaking it down just one little bit at a time. And the bonus of this is you can watch this back again and again, because it's always going to be there. You can pause it, you can rewind it, you can go back over the instructions, you can follow it exactly at your sort of pace. Lots of sick faces from Helen. No, I couldn't, but it's great watching, learning and getting tips. Well, that's it. You might not feel up to it now, Lynn, but in 6 months' time, actually, you might have watched either me enough or other people enough to think, I'll go back and give that a go. And you'll be able to give it a go, definitely. Oh, you wasn't crafting last year, Lynn. So you're a bit of a newbie. She made one on the unnamed channel. Very simple to do. That was a lot simpler, absolutely. It was a lot more basic than this one. But if you take away this lid and you don't add that that bit, the flappy bit, if you were just creating a normal box, you've just got a box base and you've just got a box lid that you can pop on and you can just take off, on and off as normal. I thought some of Michelle's were too advanced for me. However, if you just take your time, pause at every single stage, it is achievable, hun. I really, yeah, definitely, because you can pause me, and I'm very aware that I talk quite quickly, and I do try to slow down, but the bonus is you can pause me. once we're over and done with, you can pause this. And, definitely follow at your own pace. Will you be doing a tutorial on the carriages? I will. Today is just going to be the main one, and then I am going to do another one on the carriages. Again, very aware that if I did both of them, we're talking 2.5, 3 hours. Because not only do I talk fast, I talk a lot. You only started making cards in Jan this year and way more than I make. That's not just you, Lynn. We were all there, definitely. I wish I could show you some of my first cards. They were a unique style of art, definitely. But I don't look at it as wasting. I look at it as sort of learning. You have a practice and it might not have turned out the way that you want it to, but then you go on and you have another go. And don't forget, you can always message me if you've got any questions. If you're not sure how to do something, pop me a message. I'm more than happy to help and try and talk to you and guide you through something. So don't ever feel like, I don't want to bother Michelle, because that's my job. That's what I'm here for, and I really enjoy doing it for you. Did you make the prison box at one time in your other place? A prison box. I've made a few prison boxes, sort of multifaceted. Definitely. I'm not sure which, but I've definitely done a few. Thanks, Michelle, for a good night, but I'm going for wine now, as this is way beyond my limitations. Thank you. Me or wine? I don't blame you, Elizabeth. Have a lovely night. Right, so I've got a piece of card here, and again, you can see it's a very basic shape. It's 9.5 inches by 6 inches. And what you're going to do is you're going to pop it on you. I'm turning it to the side because that's how I use my scoreboard. But if you guys are using it normally, I'll try and do it for you. You're going to pop it on your scoreboard. And when someone says to you on the long side, it's having the long side of your card at the top. So on the long side, which is my 9.5 inches, I'm going to score at 0.5 inch, 2 inches, 3.5, 5, 6.5, 8, and that's it, because that gives me that. So what that's giving me is each of my sections is 1.5 inches wide, and I've got a 0.5 inch tab. So I'm going to turn it round, and on the short side, we're going to score at 1 inch, and we're going to score at 5 inches. So then what that gives me, it gives me 1 inch at each side. So again, I'm bringing it to the edge of my desk because I pop my edge over to fold it. I'll try and not do that. I'll try and hold it so you can see what I'm doing. So there you go. So on my short side, you see I've got 1 inch at that side, I've got 1 inch at that side, and then what I've got here is 4 inches. And then all of these here are 1.5 inches wide, and you've got that 6 of them. Is it 6 of them? It is. So to be honest, it doesn't really matter how many of these you do. So you can do a 6-sided one. You can do a 5-sided one. You can just create a tube. You can create it with 4 sides if you want. But I just thought it added a little bit of fun to create that 6-sided one. And again, I'm showing you the simplest and easiest way I know to do this. If you're stuck, message Michelle, put a post in the, yes, absolutely. In Michelle's McCrafters, or is it Michelle's? Yeah, it's Michelle's McCrafters groups. It's a group where you can all post your makes, ask in there. There's loads of other people who will help as well. And you can always message me. I'm more than happy for that. So lots and lots of help definitely available. Right, so all I'm doing is I'm just cutting straight up to that 1 inch score line, all the way up on all of those. And then this last bit where I've got my 1/2 inch tab, we're going to cut up there. We're just going to wedge in a little bit and cut that away. So then can you see how they've just cut all the way up? So I've trimmed the corner away, and then we're just going to cut straight up from all of these. Last one, then over. Right. So now I've got all these cuts on both sides. We can go ahead and create the front. So I'm going to bring in my glue. We're just going to glue this 1/2 inch tab first. And then just bring that over and give it a second. Prison box. I wasn't watching, just listening. I thought you said prison box. You've all convinced me. I'm glad they've all convinced you. I don't know what they've convinced you of. Maybe giving it a go. If you go to my page, there is the step-by-step instructions on there of my other train that I did that's a little bit simpler. So if you want to start somewhere simple or simpler, then go have a look at that one. You might have to scroll down a little bit looking for it, but it's definitely on there. It comes out a bit wonky. It's because it was handcrafted at Linmore, and I do that all the time. I don't know what I've just missed there, but that's funny. Right, so now I've got it glued that way. All we need to do is we need to pop all these in now. It's going to go a little bit wonky. So what I tend to, if you're not, you just sort of need to put these in a particular order. So what I tend to do is these 2 side pieces, I fold down there. And then I'm going to bring my bottom 2 pieces up. And then I'm not gluing them down yet. And I'm going to bring those 2 over last. So bring these 2 pieces in first, pop some glue underneath here, and bring these 2 over. Now, the easiest way to get it sort of straight is this corner here, and this corner here need to be the same distance away from the sides. So let me see if I've got some ink to pop on. Let me just ink those 2 edges up so you can see exactly what I mean. Can you see that? You can't even see that ink, can you? Let's add a little bit more. Right. So we've roughly got a hexagon shape. We're going to pop those 2 pieces in, bring that one over. Can you see? You can see them now. If I make it deliberately wonky, you can see it's deliberately wonky, can't you? So you're going to pop those 2 there. And you can have this a bit more squashed, you can have it, but just decide on what you want to do. And that corner is roughly 1/4 of an inch away from this edge. And so is that one. So what I can do now is I'm going to pop a little bit of glue. Sorry, I'm running out of glue. Just under there and on there. Right, so we're going to pop those 2 sides in. I'm going to bring that one over and that one. And I'm going to hold it, if you remember. So that is as near as makes the difference quarter of an inch, and that's about a quarter of an inch. Doesn't matter what size that is, as long as they're the same. Okay, so this I am going to have to hold you for just a second, just to allow them two pieces to grab first. And that's the only thing, it's being patient and waiting for this one, because as soon as I let my finger go, it's going to move. So I'm just going to give it a good 10, 20 seconds, keeping an eye on it, making sure that it doesn't move, and sort of roughly the same distance away from each side, which I think it sort of is. So I'm just going to hold that for one more second. Oh, you forgot to add a picture of my coffin box. Oh, well, you must go back and do that. I think we're nearly up to, well, we're getting nearly to the 250 people in that group. So that's nice. Remember, when we get to 250, we're going to have a little giveaway. So if you've got any friends who you think might like the group, pop them in there. Right, so dare I let go? Oh, nearly quite grabbed. So I can turn that round now. And I know now that when I bring these two in, I can do exactly the same as what I've just done. And it's really, because I've glued those down, this isn't going to move. So what I can do now is I can add the glue to these and know, so running out of glue, that it's going to be exactly where I need it to be. Let me pop some glue under there. There we go. Right, so bringing those two over again. I'm just holding it for a second. Again, making sure that my corners are equally the same distance from that side as that side. And the hardest thing about this is holding it still just while your glue grabs. Oh God, Michelle, I meant the project's not watching you. I know what you meant. I'm not offended, Elizabeth, at all. So I'm going to turn that over now. I'm just going to fold these in, and I'm just going to add a little bit of pressure to those glue bits on the bottom. And they're really, because half of them are glued down and solid, shouldn't move at all now. Just need to give it some pressure. Rhonda, Elizabeth, are you sure you would end up with a train? I don't like my stuff because I'm always making stupid mistakes most of the time with ink. Ink can be tricky. I think some of the crafters or the craft experts, they make it look really, really easy. But I think it's only easy if you know how. And I know that sounds daft, doesn't it? But it very much is. That just moved a little bit. What kind of stupid mistakes do you make with ink, Lynn? Do you add a little bit too much ink to your blender and get sort of ugly ink marks? Right, let me add the glue to these now. I'll do it a little bit quicker this side because I've sort of already shown you one way, haven't I? So bring those two in and those two, yeah. I'm sort of talking to myself at the minute. Oh, I forgot I'm out of glue. Just trying to be a little bit quicker on this side. Right, so again, I just need to hold it for a second. Just let me pop it that way. That's better. Just for it to grab. The most difficult bit about this is just being a little bit patient while you're holding it in the right sort of shape. if you've got your glass mat out, you can sort of have one of them, sort of the grids on your glass mat are going to help you sort of to make sure you've got it sort of in nearly the perfect position. And then we just need to wait for the blooming glue to dry. It's one of those, you know, you want it to hurry up and dry and it's just not. Let me read some comments. Exactly. Or go off of a stencil and get a line. Yeah, I think with inking, I think you can't just go for it. I think you do definitely need to take a lot more time. If you're are you using the sort of foam daubers when you're wanting to sort of ink? Is it when you're like inking a background or around the edges of your card? One of my tweezers, maybe what we could do is sort of like a question and answer live. So rather than me doing a live where I'm creating something, just have my stuff with me and then you can all ask questions and then I can maybe show you some hints and tips, sort of things like that. And then again, any questions you've got, I can try and answer. Maybe we could do something like that. What do you think? Would that be something that you guys would definitely like? My ink pad. So this is a craft, a Ciao Bella, sorry. I'm just using my tweezers to hold all the, you can't see me, I'm using my tweezers to hold all the card together to allow it to grab, because it just seems to be taking a little too long. That would be great. Q&A session would be good. Yes, when using a rectangle dauber. So it's definitely about pressure. And I think it's also about where you start. And I know it's a little bit boring, isn't it, to say it's about the stuff that you use, you know, the tools, but it really is. So are you on a glass mat? So if you're on a glass mat and you've got your ink dauber, do I have one with me? Absolutely going off at the minute, aren't we? See if I can find one. So this is my ink dauber. Obviously, it's a round one. If you've got your piece of paper, the easiest way to do it is to put some ink. If you want to be very careful, put some ink on your glass mat, pick a little bit up, and then dab a little bit off, and then on an angle. So on an angle from your paper, instead of going flat on, lift this up a little bit and do really gentle swirls onto it. And it's the same with the stencil. Put some ink on it, take some ink off, and then ink. Build it up from a tiny little bit at a time rather than go straight in with a lot of ink. But your brushes, if you struggle with your daubers, get some of your brushes. They are so much easier to use, and you can't put too much pressure on them. But yes, I can see lots of, yes, you'd like a Q&A session, so maybe that is something we will absolutely do. We'll talk about food. We'll talk about inks. We'll talk about anything that I think I can answer. We'll definitely do. So how is that side not glued? Bear with me. Oh, I tell you what I will do, just for now, and find my tape pen. Let's add some tape to that. And then I can go back in later. Tweezers. There we go. Right, so I'm going to bring this in. I find the brusher a game changer. I do, absolutely. Right, so we're going to bring this in. Once this is all decorated up, you're going to glue this to the back. I'm going to bring this in and I'm going to pop it. Let me move this. So it's going to get glued on to there. So just on one of these, you're going to glue that onto there, and that's going to glue onto there, and that is your train nearly come together. But what I'm going to do with this, before I do, mine's a little bit wonky because it's not glued together at all. But once you're happy with this shape, I know this is my pattern paper, but you're going to get a piece of card, whatever colours that you are using. You can see that I've added that front. There's some foam behind it. So it's ugly. We want to cover it up. So what we're going to do, when I can find my pencil, is I'm going to pop it down on there and we're going to just draw around it. And you're going to, can you see how wonky mine? You can't see how wonky mine's gone, thank God. But you're going to cut it out, pretending this is my card. This is wonkier than the hind leg of a donkey, as my mum would say. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pop that on. And mine's as wonky as it could be. But when yours is nice and straight, like mine is nice and straight here, you're going to cut your piece of paper or card out. You're going to pop it on there and it's going to cover up those workings so you don't see them at all. So that is the easiest way to do that. So bring this in, and that is your train coming together absolutely perfectly. I've got my little lid, but if you just wanted to create a normal box lid, you absolutely could do. So again, I'm going to decorate it afterwards because it's coming together, but coming together slow. So you can see how you've got that beautiful train sort of coming together. And really, the only other thing, let me bring it in, is the chimneys. So my chimney's on here. It's 1, 2, 3, it's 4 boxes, and that's it. It's okay to be wonky, it makes it one of a kind. Oh yes, I have a glass mat. I do have some brushes, so I'll go to them. I didn't know about having the dauber, the aubergine, the dauber at an angle. Yes, absolutely, because what it does, it doesn't go straight onto your pad. If you've got it at that angle, it goes on a lot gentler. Right, so my 4 boxes for my 4 parts to my chimney. We've got 4.5. We've got 5.5 by 4 inches. I'll turn it this way because what you're going to do, you're going to score on the long. You're going to score at 1, 2, 3, 4 inches. That gives me my 1/2 inch tab. And if you turn it round to the short, you're going to score at 1 inch on that side and then 3 inches. Or you can turn it round and score 1 inch on each side. So we'll pick the pace up a little, but remember, you can pause this and go back. We can't pause it now. Can you pause it now, actually, while it's live? I think you can, can't you? But you can watch this back and you can pause and you can rewind. And you can do this. Absolutely. Because it's breaking it all down into those sections. Makes it so easy. So I'm doing exactly what you've seen me do the whole way through. We're creating another box, just a little bit of a different size. So we've got all those where we've just cut up to that 1 inch line. Let's bring this in. I'm sure this was full this morning. So we've popped glue on that tab. We're going to bring that over. We're just going to hold it for a second. My first train, actually, I think, Matthew, didn't you give me all the instructions? Because I couldn't get back onto my old Crafters Companion page. So I think the instructions actually, I think Matt had wrote them down and then sent them back to me. So they're absolutely brilliant. All sides are going to tuck in. Where's my glue? Let me see if I can find my big glue thing to fill it up. Here it is. Spend more time trying to get glue out than actually gluing stuff. Let me just fill this up. But the first train is exactly the same. It's all those separate boxes, just doing one box at a time. And I think this is, so it's a very much a beginner train, the one that is already on my page, quite a while ago now. But it's very much a beginner one. It's a lot simpler than this one. So, oh, there we go. Look at that. So we're just going to fold all the sides in, exactly like you've seen me do so many times tonight. There we go. So I'm just going to hold both those sides, but you can see it's a chimney. You're going to pop your pattern paper around it, you're going to ink it up, you're going to do whatever it is that you want to do to it. So I will do a live next week, maybe Monday or Tuesday, and we'll just do like a Q&A. And then all of those questions that you've got, I mean, no question's a daft question. Definitely not. I mean, you only know it if you know it, don't you? So Tanya's Crafty Life UK. Hi, new to your channel. Well, hello. It's fabulous to have you here. We like fresh blood. Matthew is great. Helps me out with selection box make. Do you know what? Matthew's absolutely brilliant. He really is. Right, so that's one chimney. So if I bring it in, you can see that it's that piece there. So let's pop that down. We're going to bring this next piece in. So this is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. And what you're going to do is you're going to score it at 1/2 inch and 1 inch. You're going to turn it round. You're going to score at 1/2 and 1, 1/2 and 1, and 1/2 and 1 inch. So very easy, just a 1/2 inch and 1 inch on all 4 sides. And then again, we're going to burnish and score. All 4 sides. And then what we're going to do with this one is we're going to cut here all the way up to that 1 inch score line. I'm going to take that lovely little wedge out like we always do. And I'm going to leave that tab just like that. And I'm going to do exactly the same. So what you're doing really is you're just cutting those 3 corner squares away and then just wedging your tab. So we're going to do this on all 4 sides. So I'll just hurry up a little bit. I mean, I do have nearly all of my pattern paper cut out and ready to go, but it's going to add way too much time onto this. And again, it's sort of a personal preference, which pieces you want to decorate, which pieces, how big or small you're going to sort of create in mats and layers. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to just glue these 4 tabs. So can you see what I've got here? I'm going to glue my 4 tabs and we're just going to tuck those round. Now, so if this was a box lid and I was doubling the edges, for extra strength, what you would do is you would tuck that round. So you would tuck that tab in and then you would glue all 4 sides over. Can you see? But that's not what we're going to do, but sort of cut exactly the same way as if we were double edging our spots. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to glue all 4 of these. And we're just going to glue that tab. We're not going to fold any of those sides over yet. I love all the makes Matthew has shared on socials. Yes. Yeah, definitely. Did you see his desk organizer? That was awesome. So bear with me. Just for a second while these go off. Do you know, if I'm just creating here at home, my glue goes off in seconds. And when you want it to hurry up, it doesn't. But it's always the way, isn't it? So can you see how I've got that double wall that I would tuck right round if I was sort of making extra support for my box lid? But we're not gonna. So what we're going to do is we're just going to create this. So that's it. That's all we're going to create. So I'm going to pop some glue there and there and there and there. And then just, again, holding it just for a second so you can see what I've created. So I'm going to turn it over and pop that there. Allow that to, again, just go off like you would to reinforce. Yeah, absolutely. But we haven't folded it all the way down this time. We've just left them up. You cut it exactly the same way. Shannon H97, have you got a create board? Are you on Pinterest? I'm on Pinterest and I go through phases where I update it all the time and then I go through phases where I forget all about it. Yes, and your papers look so fantastic. He did a great job with them. He really did. So let me just trim that down because that's going. Right, so again, if you find that it's not grabbing, either bring in a little peg or a little tweezers, just your tweezers. So all I'm doing is it's just allowing me to get that squeeze on those pieces of card in the corner where I can't really get my fingers in there. Or if you've got some little paper clips, those work wonders as well, just to pop on there and put to the side while it just goes off. I know, I think exactly. I think Matt should do a tutorial for the desk storage because he did an awesome job. Right, so this is it. This is what I've got. So this is going to glue on here. So I'm going to turn that upside down and I'm just going to glue that on there. There's enough edge there for it to glue on here perfectly. So just around that edge. I'm going to pop some glue and I'm going to rub it in so it will go off a little bit better. We're going to pop that other piece on that we've already created. Again, we're going to give it a second to sort of go off. Let me do it this way. Making sure that I've got it in the centre. All fingers and thumbs today. Pop that back on. I'm just going to hold that. Just that little bit of pressure is going to allow it to just take an hour rather than 3. People sharing their makes. I know my paper clips are in a box somewhere. See, this is why I never tidy up, because when I tidy up, I can't find what I'm looking for. Oh, yes, that's great news, Matt. It's in the middle of writing the instructions for the desk storage. So would you pop those on our group page, Matt? Because that would be awesome, because I would love to do that as well. I haven't made a desk storage for a very long time. The last time I did one, it was with one of Ciao Bella's collections. Which one? It was La Triviata. It was. But yours is brilliant, because yours all comes apart, doesn't it? You've got all the separate sections. The red thing on my desk, this, I think, if it is this, it's my tape pen. It's from Sticks to Anything. Pop that down, don't pop open. I love this. So these are refillable. So you've got just a little notch here. If you press that, it pops off. And you've got refills. You just take it up, take that out, put a new one in, and that's it. So just that little notch there, press it. You don't even have to press it hard, but because of where it is, you're never going to accidentally press it. And you've got refills for it. And that little thing here just goes up over there, covers your glue when you're not using it. When you want to use it, you just lift that back. But it's awesome. Right, so we're getting there, look. Can you see how just 2 boxes together have created that? Then we've got this next piece. This is a small piece. It's 3 inches by 3 inches. But again, I've scored it at 1/2 inch and 1 inch on all 4 sides. So we're going to do exactly the same as what we just did with this one. So I think what I might do actually is use my tape pen just for speed. So we're going to cut those wedges away like we always do. So those 3 corner pieces, all 4 sides. You wouldn't think I'd be cutting something so small with my biggest pair of scissors. Thanks, I didn't know Sticks 2 sold them. They do. They have normal tape pens that are not refillable, but they have those refillable ones as well, and they're great. Right, again, so can you see it's exactly the same shape? So let me bring this in. And again, just for speed, any construction, I do always use a wet glue, because, in fact, before I put all those together, yeah, it's all right. Let me just, look how strong that is. Right. I need to add a little bit more to that. And then I'm going to turn it over. And because I'm using my tape pen, I'm going to pop glue on there. So just bringing that straight up, and that one, And then tuck that side in as well. You've got that tiny, tiny box. And because I've put the glue on the inside just now, I can bring it over and bring it together. And you've got another exactly the same as this one, but smaller. So I'm going to pop the glue tape pen on here. Again, just for speed. Using wet glue is all right, but it does take a while, especially when you're doing a live. So can you see that that's my chimney? So bear with me, I'm just going to hold that for a second. Definitely better. It takes longer with wet glue, but it's definitely better once you've sort of got there. So that's my chimney. That is it. You're going to wrap some pattern paper around. That's an edgeable. Can you see the pattern that I used? But again, I was saying earlier, it's a beautiful die set. It's a Crafter's Companion one, but I love it. It's one of the very few things that I didn't get rid of. But it takes 3 or 4 passes to die cut one, even with my metal shim. So it takes forever for me to use it, which is why I don't very often use it. So let me just pop that in there, because now what I can do is we're going to bring this back in. So remember, I've left that back open so we can pop a chocolate bar in there. That can be day 1 of your advent calendar if you want it to be. I've got my little support beam underneath, and then that is my train. Decorate that up. That's going to go on the back. I'm going to pop that there. Mine's a tad wonky, but that's going to go there. So if I bring that in, you can see how it's coming together. So let me pop it up there. Really, the only thing different I've done with this one is I've just added those almost like railings with the those die cuts. You can add those on or not, entirely up to you. But what I did was I added one coming off of that bit and coming off of that bit. So you've got like this really fabulous pattern going on. But that's going to go there. And then the only other thing on this one is that front one. And I'm going to bring it in. I did this a little bit different because it was so small. I could get away with doing it this way. So you've got 4.5 inches wide by 2 inch. You're going to score at 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've got my 1/2 inch tab. Then you're going to turn it to the short. You're going to score at 1/2 inch and 1.5 inches. So again, scoring, burnishing, cutting. Can you see how it's very much a rinse and repeat of the things that we're doing? So even though you might think that this is something that's a little bit beyond you, by the time that you've done your second and third box, because they're all done in such a similar way, it's almost like that repetitiveness makes it stick in your brain so much more. And I've always found my whole life that that's the easiest way that I learn, by seeing something 2 or 3 times. It just makes it stick in my head. So let's pop some, lift you up, tape on that one and that one, and then just fold those over. Pop this in. I haven't cut that side, so let's trim that side as well. There we go. You won't think I could forget to do it when I'm looking at it. It is Michelle McCarthy Crafts on Pinterest. Yeah, I do. I go through phases where I update it and then I don't, and then I do, and then I don't. so many to update. There's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's YouTube, there's what else is there? There's TikTok. But to be honest, I haven't updated my TikTok for a little while either, because I've got so many Johnny Depps following me that sometimes it almost feels like, what's the point? Just visual learner, me too. I think it's definitely one of the reasons that I like to do. Sorry, I've lost my little a project where you repeating again and again. So it allows everyone, once they've done it a couple of times, you'll have found it on my craft alongs as well. Once someone's done it quite a few times, they're almost an expert at it, and it allows people to, like Lynn was saying earlier, and someone, was it Lynn, that she can't do things like this. But so there's two things that I've done wrong with this one. I haven't burnished all my corners properly, so which means it's not sitting very neatly. But again, because I'm not going to glue this together yet, I can do it afterwards. But that one's going to go there. So if I try to hold those down, you can see that my two chimneys are going to sit like that. Again, mat and layers of card and paper, whatever pattern paper you want to use. But I'll move that up, bring this one in. Besides the extra sort of decoration and embellishments, it's exactly what you've just seen me do. Again, those was the dies. I cut it out 3 times and layered it up. All I've done is I've scored it so it just glues to the side. Very, very easy, 1/2 inch score line. But again, it depends on what you're using. You might just want to use some pattern paper for your bumper. You might have some metal embellishments that you want to use for the bumper. It's entirely up to you. That's sort of the decorative bits that are sort of fun afterwards. I have here. So my bumper, so this piece, I've got 2 created here because on this one, I've got just a circle of paper, and underneath that circle of paper is a magnet for that to go onto. So let me bring it so you can see. I've got that magnet to go onto. So I've created a bumper for this one, and then I've created a bumper for my next carriage, which I will do another live on for the next carriage. Very, very simple. Can you tell? Can you guess how I've made it? So I've got a square piece of card. It is 3.5 inches by 4.5 inches. On the long side, you're going to score at 1, 3, and 4, and that gives me my 1/2 inch tab. On your short side, you're going to score at 1 and 2.5. Gonna exactly like we just did. We're going to fold and burnish. You're going to fold and burnish a lot better and correctly. But on that tab, we're going to cut it off and we're going to trim that little bit away on both sides. And then we're going to cut straight off. On all of those. We're going to glue that tab together. Let's pop some glue on there. And then you're going to tuck all these in, like on nearly every other box that we've done. And what you have got is exactly the same thing. I've just, again, it's just some pattern paper wrapped round. I've put gilding wax on the edges of these. So what you're going to do is on the back of this, so I'll bring this one in to show you. You're going to pop a magnet on, and then you're going to cover it with just a circle. Just die cut a circle out. No particular size, just one that I'm quite happy with that covered my magnet. And you're going to glue that to the back. And then on this, you're going to, on one side, you're going to pop a magnet on, obviously making sure that it's the right way to connect to that. You're going to pop a magnet on, you're going to cover it with some pattern paper. You're not going to cover it with a 300 GSM cardstock because it depends how strong your magnets are, but normal magnets, covering this one with some just pattern paper, and mine's a 200 GSM, and that one with a 200 GSM, you still get a lovely, I don't know if you can hear that, a lovely connection. If you cover it with a 300 GSM, it's not going to attach to each other. So you're going to pop on one side your magnet and a pattern piece of paper, and then on the other side, I've just added a square of paper, and then what I've done is I've got 2 circles. Okay, can you see from the side? There's 2 circles. So you've got pattern paper. I've got a foam pad. Mine are clear foam pads. I've got a circle of pattern paper. I've got my magnet, and then I've got another circle of pattern paper. So you've got paper, foam pad, circle of paper, magnet, circle of paper. And then I've done the same for the other one, because it just, when you see trains and they've got those connectors at the back and they've got sort of all that sort of spacing, I did it like that just to sort of emulate it. So you've got just purely for pattern. You could just put a magnet straight to each side if you wanted, but I just added that just for pattern, just to make it a little bit more fun and just to make it look fabulous. Where do you get clear foam from? You get clear foam from Sticks to You. Sticks to anything. I have got clear double-sided foam on a roll. This is 1.5 meters, and it's a 5 mil by a 2 mil. It's on red, so you can see it, but it's a clear. It's just a clear foam, and that is what I've used. They also do giant foams on a roll. Have I shown you those before? Would you like to see the giant ones? But so that is all I've done. It's just a magnet and paper on that side, so that will stick there. I love that. Is that just me that loves that? And then on your opposite side, paper, foam pad, circle of paper, magnet, circle of paper. Exactly the same on this side, so they sit together. Because then when I bring in, you can see actually how strong my magnets are. If I just turn that to the side, I mean, it's going to, let me stand it. There. Right, so you can see that it's staying there. It had to be the right way around, because what I've done is my magnet is a little bit wonky. So if I put that on that way, it sits perfectly. But if I turn it round, it goes on a wonk. So let me just bring in the little sort of carriage that we will do on another live. So on the front of this one, so this is the back. So on the front of it, so these can attach. I know my desk's a mess. You're going to have to apologise. I do apologise. But it's strong enough that it pulls it. So, and these magnets, I got them off of Amazon, and they're just neodymium magnets, which are really quite strong. Are you at work, Gaz? You want to see the giant foam on a roll, and then I'll talk you through the wheels. Right, bear with me 1 second. Don't move. Oh, here we go. So I've used this load since I last showed you them, but you wouldn't know because they're huge. So I've got some black, excuse the glitter. I've got some black and it's a mildy. So I just lift that up for you. It's nice and shallow, this one, if you don't want something too deep. But you can see how big it is. What is it like? I've got my ruler somewhere. Is it like a foot wide? It is. It's over 12 inches in diameter. So you've got some lovely black foam on a roll. And then you've got some more, which is the same size, but it's deeper this way. And it's a little bit deeper that way as well. This is just normal foam, which is huge. But this is the giant clear one. You can see if I turn it that way, it's on that red, so you can see it really easy. But this is my giant clear foam on a roll. And this one is 9.5 inches. And they're not expensive either. So that sticks to anything that you can get those from. I love double-sided foam. I love foam on a roll. I love any of this stuff. So let me pop that to the side and I'll explain the wheels. Oh, here we are. So again, for decoration purpose, what have I done with those guys? I've used these two die sets. Helen, don't look. So this particular one here, I thought just went really well on the sides. So if you're wanting to pop someone's name on there or anything like that, you can do, or Happy Christmas if you are making it sort of for an advent calendar. But the wheels, very, very simple. So if I leave that there for you. Decide on how big you want your wheels. So I roughly went, if you've got these, I went for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the fifth one up. It is. So this particular die set, it's the fifth one. But if I give you the measurements of it, it's 2 inches. So it's 2 inches. Is that the diameter? Across that way. So that is the particular one that I used. Now, they aren't weight bearing because I've got that support underneath, that support box. So it doesn't matter that I've only cut them out of card. If you want it to be weight bearing, I mean, you can get like model wheels and things like that if you want to sort of go that route, or double, triple your card stock up to create your wheels. But I didn't, because this is my weight bearing. So these are just decorative. So I got my fifth. I said it was the fifth one, didn't I? I die cut lots of my circles. Okay. And then I got this one and the one below. And then I don't know if you can see. Can you see how I just, using those two, I just cut a circle, an outline out. So let me do it so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Then I'll just run it through on some white. So I've got both of those. Excuse my phone, I haven't turned my volume down. Pop those together. And take them in place. Now I did have this here. Now I did this in the black cardstock. So if I was doing it in the white, I'd do it with the white cardstock as well. Because it just gives you that little bit of depth that makes it look more like a real. So there you go. So I've got that. And I popped that round the outside. And that's how that wheel is sort of coming together. And then the only other thing that I did, obviously you can see I've got a smaller, so using my smallest one, I cut the pattern paper for in the middle. And then Where is this? Oh, I bet Gaz is having a heart attack looking at my desk, isn't he? So roughly, let's go 3. So I'm 3 notches up. So that's not even a quarter, is it? Just under a quarter of an inch. I cut the strips. So I cut lots of strips and make a space so you can see what I'm doing. Let's use this. So again, I did use wet glue to do this, but just for speed for you guys, I'm just going to do it this way. So before I put that on, I got lots of my strips. So let's just glue all the way down. And I used, what did I use? I used 3. So I'm going to pop one right across the middle. Again, just judging as much as I can that it's in the middle. And then sort of creating an X. We're going to trim that. Now, I trimmed it a little bit in, so can you see? I've not trimmed it right to the edge because when I want this to go over, because I used the 300 GSM cardstock before, if I go right to the edge, it bumps up. So let's pop. This one's not quite going to be long enough, but you're going to get exactly the idea. So you can, let's just naff, isn't it? Let's have a, cut a slice. See if I can judge that. There we go. So if I lift that up, pop that across the middle. I only use 3. You can use sort of 4 or 5, as many as you want, but I thought 3 looked really quite nice. And then you can pop that on there. I've got that smaller circle in the middle. Do I have one die cut? I don't. Let's pop one out and you can get the full effect of how it goes. So using my smallest one, but again, that's personal preference on how big or small you want to create all these. Is there? Go and stay there. Every time I move, it moves. There. And then I'll pop that in the middle. That's my wheels. They're just so easy to come together. It's just about die cutting as many out. I did the 3 on the front because it felt more train-like because it's a little bit longer. But on the back, because it's not as long, I just did the 2 wheels on each side. But this one, I'll show you how to make. We'll do another live because I do have a 3rd carriage that we're going to make. So we'll do that on the next live. But to make it into an advent calendar, you saw how I made the box open up at the back. You've got this box here. I don't make this one open. It would be a little bit tricky for me to show you how to do it, especially when some of you guys are a bit more beginner. You absolutely can. But with it being 6-sided, it can be a bit of a pain. If you want to create a tube, if you've got an old toilet roll, the middle bit, you can use that on the front, decorate that up. But all you need to do to add, let me move this, some sort of boxes. So this would be number 1 on your advent calendar. You just need to section this off, literally just section it off. You've got 2 pieces of card that you can put in there. And it's covered up. So it's entirely up to you. What you could then do, and again, it's going a little bit. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll do it in a step by step, and I'll pop it on my page to show you how to create another box on the inside with separate. With separate lids, or you're just going to create 4 smaller boxes and pop them in there. It's very simple to sort of evolve it into an advent calendar. But when I come back and show you this one, I'll show you how I've adapted that as well. It's just 4 boxes. We're going to put 4 boxes in. You're going to put a number on top of each box. They're going to sit in absolutely perfectly. Because it's 3.5 inches by 3.5. What you can do is you're going to make your boxes 1.5 by 1.5 and as tall as you want. So as tall as this, or you can make them a little bit shorter. And the same with this, because I've created these so the lids come off. The lids, the little top bits. And you can do the same in here. You can pop just separate boxes in there with all the different numbers on. And then this just sits back. I've used straws for this. I just had some straws in my stash. So I've just used some black straws. But we'll do that on the next one because I've just looked at the time. Pop that on there. There we go. So pop that to the side. So you can see how it's a lot and it takes a while, especially once you decorate it all up and everything like that. But they're just all boxes. So remember, you can rewatch this as many times as you want. If you do have any questions, if I've said something and you're like, I'm really not quite sure what you mean, pop me a message and ask. I'm more than happy to sort of answer that, because I am very aware that I talk a lot and I talk quick. But it's very simple to put together, but it is definitely a labour of love. It does take a little while, definitely. PJB Stamper, hello. I got vinyl rolls I could cut down. Yeah, absolutely. If you wanted to do that, yeah, definitely. This train is just amazing. Thank you. It's late. Who's it late for? Are we talking to PJB Stamper? Is Pam, isn't it? So that's me all done. I will do a live next week. We'll do a Q&A, and maybe we can make that a regular thing, a Q&A, and then I can try and answer any questions, show you anything if you're not sure on how something is done, a bit of stenciling or, whatever, any questions you've got. I'll pop a post up though in time and let you know, and then you can all be thinking of any questions that you've got. Oh yes, next Saturday, Diane, it is, isn't it? So that's my you're not feeling very well. That's it. Well, yes, I hope you're better for next week, definitely. Let me put that to the side because we'll have another quick sneaky peek. I've got hiccups now, can you hear? A quick sneaky peek of what I've got coming up. Let's have a look. So, if you are wanting to get any of the papers that I've used today, so the Christmas ones or the circus ones or any of the others, they're all always available. They never go out of stock. So if there's any of those that you want to get to, recreate the train as you see with the circus collection, then just pop me a message and you can order. You can order anything. So these are my rice papers. So this is all the Alice collection that's coming up. So this is one of the rice papers. This, you can just pop this onto paper. Rice paper works beautifully as a card front. You just mat and layer it. Mod Podge, you can get paper to paper Mod Podge. If you don't have any Mod Podge, get your tacky glue and water it down. It obviously doesn't do what Mod Podge does with regards to sealing over the top and things like that. But if you just want him to put a bit of paper to paper, just water down some of your tacky glue. So you can still be using that, you know, and then either get some Mod Podge, or I think Cadence do like a rice paper glue. So, you know, lots of options. So that's my rice paper. So these are some of my fussy cut pages that are coming up. So you can fussy cut them. I mean, so you can see the two toppers here. It looks beautiful as is. And I think that does as well. I think that will just make a beautiful card front, album front. Is it possible to get any of your other collection on rice paper? I will have a look at some of my other collections and pop some of them onto rice papers. I think some will work better than others as a rice paper. But if there's anything in particular, any pieces in particular, Helen, that you'd like on rice paper, pop me a message and let me know, and I'll have a play. I can't see why not. So that is that's in the 6x6, the 8x8 and the 4x3s, which look fabulous. This is the watercolour collection. So this is Almost Alice watercolour. Again, it was the in-between between my main collection and the fussy cut pads. Because Ben added that beautiful watercolour effect to it, I said it's almost a collection on its own. So he said, well, why don't you do it as a, you know, a collection on its own? And I think Alice has to be sort of a special edition, doesn't it? You know, lots of extra bits. I think it covers everyone's choice, everyone's taste. You might like this one, but not that one. And I think all price points as well, because my 12x12 pads are £12 for the 12 pieces. The A4 is £10 and the 6x6s are £6. And then your rice papers are £1.50 each. So I think there's something to cover everyone's sort of price point. That's another one in the 12x12. Tanya's Safety Life, do you have Facebook? Because if you go to my page on Facebook, they're all there in albums for you to be able to view them all. I am in the process. No, I think I've done them all on my group page. Some of them are on Instagram. But if you're not on Instagram or Facebook, if you pop me an email, my email should be down below. I can send you all the, you know, the albums with all the papers. And you can have a look at them, and that's how you order. So you just pop me a message on Facebook. Oh yes, I've just joined your group. Brilliant. So this isn't released. This is released on the 1st of November, which is sort of the beginning of the month, is always when my new releases are. But all the albums of the stuff I have released, you'll see them all on my pages or on my page. So yes, you can go have a look there. This is another one. So this is the Almost Alice, the main collection. Raz, you can't move when I'm doing a live. So that's the main collection. This is where it all started, just the main collection. This is going to be one of the backing pages, believe it or not. So this is a backing page. So it is going to work beautifully. If you want to let me get a piece of black card. If you want to mat and layer, so you can either mat and layer this way. You'd have a bigger border, wouldn't you, of the red popping through, and then black behind this. And how amazing does that look? But the bonus is it's going to look fabulous on its own as well. So that is from the backing papers. This one is again from the main collection. This is one of the backing papers. But again, it's going to work beautifully on its own. And I think with this as well, it's going to work for so many other things, not just why on earth would you cover it up? I know. I tried to there's some more plain backing papers, but it's a Michelle plain rather than a normal person plain, if that makes sense. Because I find it very hard to just do something plain so you can cover it up. And then, so this is the husband's collections. These are the ones that he's been working on. So they're going to be called Paper by Ben. That's not it. That's one of mine. So this is his very nautical, oldie world, mermaidy sort of collection, which I just love. I think that is absolutely fabulous. I can't wait to get inky with that black and white background. You could do so much with it, couldn't you? Another one of that beautiful, he hasn't got names for them yet, but they're definitely going to be ones that I think I'm going to release because I don't have something not just masculine, but more, although I've got the circus ones. But anyway, I haven't got nothing like this, and I think he's done an amazing job. So that sort of will be one collection. And then I think, to be honest, I think this is going to be a second collection and these are going to be a third because this is beautiful. And I think if he gets more sort of along these lines, they're going to be a definite separate collection to these ones here. So I think these are all going to go in the same collection so you can see. I'm so happy that the camera is picking up. When is Ben doing a live with his papers? I'm gonna tell him, and I'm gonna make sure that he knows that he's got to do a live with these because if it's paper by Ben instead of paper by Michelle, then he absolutely has got to, hasn't he? But look at those. They're stunning. You're going to use these for so much. And again, I know you won't want to, but you're still going to be able to cut these up because in sections, they're still going to work. So if you are wanting to section that up and just use that corner, it's going to work. If you want to section it up and use that I think it's roughly about a 6x6, maybe it's a 7x6, you're still going to be able to cut them off. But don't forget, they are going to come in the A4 pad, which has got that 8x8 on it, and they're also going to come in the 6x6 as well. I feel a little bit rude covering up while I'm talking because they're so beautiful. I get far too excited for my own good sometimes. Yes, you do. But that's what we want. I like to see if you're liking and excited by my stuff or if you're not. So I think it's fabulous. It's very out there, isn't it? I'm very proud of him. Is that really daft? I mean, he works on my stuff with my ideas, but he just sort of came to me with some of these, and I think they're amazing. Definitely. Can we have a New Year theme? We can have a New Year theme. What would be in your New Year theme, though? You'd have to let me know. Gorgeous papers, Ben. Great job, papers. Thank you. Everything is so amazing. I love it all, and they're beautiful. Can't wait till they come out. I know. I can't wait to get working with them and sort of show you some stuff with them. Definitely. Lots to be proud of, Michelle. I'm thinking Neverland Clock Tower with these papers. Yes. Oh gosh, yes. Oh yeah. Okay. Did you see it sort of click with me then? Absolutely. That's another collection I think I would love to do, a Neverland collection, sort of Peter Pan and Tinkerbell, something like that. But yeah, it's the colours, isn't it? They're just stunning. Right, so I have kept you, way too long. I've kept you nearly time did I start? 6:00. Oh. Right, I will let you all get off. So do not forget fireworks, Big Ben, the big wheel. Yes. The reason I asked is because my idea of sort of New Year could be a bit different to yours, so I always like to double check. So don't forget all the usuals that I always ask you to do: like, follow, share. My group is nearly at 250, and when it gets there, there's going to be a giveaway. My main page is nearly at 2,500. So I think I'm 2,400-ish. So when that gets to 2.5, there's going to be a giveaway. So liking, sharing, inviting friends, things like that. Let's sort of I don't get notifications for you. It's on Facebook or on here. Because there is a little bell on here somewhere that you can sort of, but I think you can click on the bell, but then I think you have options to get notified for some stuff or for everything. So it's never as easy as you want it to be, is it? So yes, both of those pages. Let's get those numbers up, which means I get to share more. You guys get to share more. It's just all fun and exciting. Definitely going to do the Q&A next week. Definitely going to get on with the next train carriage next week as well. Obviously, I'll pop all the details up for those as well. And again, any questions, don't feel like you can't message me, because I'm happy to answer any and everything if I can answer it. So thank you all for listening to me for 3 hours. I tried to not make it go that long, but Beauty and the Beast, yes, definitely. The fabulous thing about Alice is it's out of copyright now, so you could, except for the films, the Disney films aren't. Alice in Wonderland is out of copyright, so you've got like real artistic license with having a play with Alice. I think it's like the new Winnie the Pooh horror movies, isn't it? That's out of copyright licensing now, so people are sort of filling the boots, so to speak. But definitely, I love all the Beauty and the Beast, the Cinderella, Peter Pan, anything that makes fabulous papers, and in turn is going to make fabulous projects, isn't it? Well worth the time, Michelle. Thank you very much, Lee. I really appreciate that. I appreciate you all. I've had so much fun. And I'm just trying to make sure I haven't forgot anything else. But yes, the main thing is any questions, pop me a message. Always happy to try and help. And that's it, I think. So I'm going to go get my sandwich. And it's Friday night, so I might have a gin and tonic, Um, in the base, yeah, got it, yeah. Gin and tonic, I think. I think gin and tonic and a sandwich, and whatever film Ben has picked while I've been doing this. So thank you so much. This I will pop this share it onto my pages, so you get to have a look and pause me so you can follow what I've been doing. And I will definitely see you all next week with that Q&A session. So thank you all so much, and I will see you soon.